Welcome, kids, to my enrichment activity, which is going to be on survival sewing. My last survival sewing activity, we learned about sewing on patches on torn clothing, and today we're going to learn about sewing buttons on clothes that lost a button. This could come in real handy one day when you're at university and your button pops off and there's no one around to help you fix it. You have to do it yourself. So here we go. What you'll need is a button. I think I'm going to have a 4-hole button here, as you can see. They come in 2-hole buttons or 4-hole buttons. If you can find a 4-hole button, you're going to need a piece of thread or very, very, very thin string called thread. Any color is fine. And mine is about as long as my arm. So about as long as your arm. A little pair of scissors. This is the smallest pair of scissors in the whole world I have. And a tiny little needle with an eye hole. And you'll need either a piece of paper, like I'm using here, or you'll need, better yet, a piece of material to sew your button onto. So let's begin. You take your thread, and just like we did last time with sewing on a patch, you want to lick the end of the thread so that it becomes very, very, very thin and easier to shove through the eye of the needle. Here we go. Once you've licked the end of your thread, then you can poke it through the eye hole, maybe easier. Some people can poke it through the eye hole without actually licking the thread, and that means you're a real pro. But for me, I'm kind of a beginner like you, and I got it on my first try, I think. Yeah, this is an extra small needle. A bigger needle might be a little bit better. All right, I did it. Once you got it through the eye hole, you pull the needle through, the thread through the needle, until you match up the ends of your thread like this. And then you can pull it forward so that your needle is at the bottom of your thread and it hangs like that, like it's a necklace. Then you take the end of your thread where the two ends met up together, and you're going to wrap it around. This might be kind of difficult for you also. And tie it off once. Tie it off. Again. And try to get it so that knot meets up with the other knot you did, so it's an extra big knot. And I like to do a third one just to be sure. And so all 3 knots ideally are going to come together in one big beautiful knot. And now it's time to begin sewing. Here we go. Take my piece of paper, or if you have a piece of material, even better, and you're going to shove your needle through. I like to fold my material or my paper like this and just shove it through. Careful, don't poke your thumb. Shove it through like this and pull the needle all the way through, and you'll notice our knot becomes obvious why we did that. See, it stops at the knot. It's supposed to do that. Then we take our little scissors. Again, I got the smallest scissors in the world. And then you're going to cut off the excess piece of string hanging off past that knot. These are also the least sharp scissors in the world, so just give me a second. They're baby proof. I have a baby. Got it. Okay. And now I'm ready to go. So I take my needle I just went through the paper with, and I take my 4-hole, or if you have 2-holed button, and I'm going to put it through the back side of the button. Any one of the holes will be fine. And I pull it through and let the button slide on down. Now I'm going to pick the hole across from, or diagonal from, the button, and I'm going to push the needle right through that hole and out the back of the paper. I'm using the smallest button in the world too. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Pull it through the hole. And now it might be another hard part for you here. I'm going to try to kind of guess where the first hole I went through was. And I think that was back here, nearby there somewhere in the back, and up through the same one. Oh, look how lucky I just got. Through the same hole, and until it stops, that loop. And then I'm going to go back down again, just like before, through the same buttonhole as I did the first time. Now actually, in real life, if I were really sewing a button on, I would want to go through the other 2 holes. Remember, we had 4 holes here on the button. The other 2 holes, out from the back, down to the front, up to the back, down to the front. Again, and maybe a few more times to make sure the button is really secure on there. But today, this is just our first button ever. Let's just stop it right there. And this button is pretty well on there. And now I want to flip the piece of paper over. Another hard part's coming up here. And I want to just push it through the paper, the back of the paper, and out anywhere through right there or so. And then I want to, tricky part, through the loop of the thread. And I pull that, and you can see it forms a bit of a stop right there. And I want to do it again. Different location. Through the paper, and then through the loop, and I want to pull it until it stops again right there. And you know what? We're going to call that a day. I messed up on the back side. It shouldn't have that loop right there. If you do your button securely like mine, just twice through the front holes, and you do it prettier than my back side here, then you're extra special. I'll give you a candy bar. So that's it for today, kids. Have a good day. Thanks for attending our survival sewing class today. Bye-bye.